Welcome to the Planning Board meeting of October 8th, 2024 in the Carver Town Hall meeting room. These proceedings will be videotaped and rebroadcast by Area 58 TV. If we could all stand and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have a public hearing continued on the application of Peter Sprague requesting a special permit and site plan review pursuant to section 2230C, 3100, 4341, and 5300 of the Carver zoning bylaw, located at lot number 2A, Ricketts Pond Drive in Carver, Mass. Assessors map 32, lot 1-2A, in the Spring Street Innovation Zoning District, to construct an approximate 7,440 square foot light industrial building with associated parking areas and utilities to accommodate the proposed use. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Planning Board members. Eric Shoemaker with Mackenzie Engineering. I'm here with the applicant, Peter Sprague. We're going to provide an update on Lot 2B.
So Eric, if you would, just lean into the microphone when you're speaking so our minute taker at home can hear you. Thank you.
Sure. So I'll start here with the site layout plan, that's sheet C1. Since we've last met, we're in receipt of a peer review letter. We had a couple back and forths with Fuss and O'Neill. We have a latest peer review letter. Let's see the date here. I'll get back to that, I'll find it. The changes to the plan consist of an increased front yard buffer along the entire front landscape island here. One parking space was removed along the front of the building to achieve this over at the plan right side and adjacent to the bicycle rack. The top of the retaining wall to the rear of the property was decreased in elevation, and that layout changed slightly, as you'll see on the grading and drainage plan. I just want to note while I'm on this sheet that we still comply with the parking regulations for this proposed office and warehouse use. We propose 14 spaces while we require 9. You'll see that change I mentioned briefly regarding the top of the retaining wall that was decreased from 172.5 to 160 at its maximum elevation. We also added sheet EVA1, which is an emergency vehicle access plan. This is coordinated with the Carver Fire Department, and we received the specifications for that fire truck during the design of the other lots, and we show the fire truck entering the rear of the development and just leaving through the other driveway. It has clear access to 3 sides of the building as shown. We also provided a response to the peer review letter, and we received the latest letter from Mr. Andy Glines, dated September 6, 2024. After review on our end, it appears it's mostly recommendations of waivers and conditions, and we agree with everything that Andy has in here. So with that, I'm going to briefly discuss the landscape plan. I know this was the main discussion at our last meeting, and like I mentioned, we increased this front yard landscape buffer to a uniform 7.9 feet to the property line. It's 20 feet now to the edge of pavement. And if you would, Mr. Chairman, I would like to pass out a table I've made that just compares the front landscape buffers in the entire development, just so we can get a feel with how this ties in.
All right, thank you.
Is that That?
Yes.
So that's in their packets, I believe.
got it.
So in your package, you have a Lot 2B front yard landscape buffer calculations with yellow stripe across them.
I did not get one.
I got it.
I think I saw.
Yeah.
I have extras if you.
Okay.
I haven't found mine yet, so I'll take one.
I'm glad you printed them, Aaron.
Thank you.
I'm all set, thank you.
So this table has a couple columns in it. I go by lot in the development, and I compare the parking spaces of that lot with the front landscaping, and that's measured both to the property line and all the way out to the roadway of Ricketts Pond Drive. I also mention if there's a sidewalk on that, adjacent to that lot, and the sidewalk you can estimate about, 4 to 5 feet is going to be taking up that buffer zone with the cement concrete sidewalk. And what you can see here is we have the second lowest number of parking spaces. We have 15. Lot number 4 across the street has 11 parking spaces. But we provide the greatest landscape buffer, greatest front landscape buffer in the entire subdivision. That being 7.9 feet to the property line and 20 feet to Ricketts Pond Drive. So we have about a foot greater of landscaping compared to lots 4 and 5 across the street. So we feel that we provide a uniform front landscape area, and when you factor in the number of parking spaces, we believe that we provided an adequate front yard landscape buffer, and I just wanted to demonstrate that and put it in kind of mathematical terms to visualize. So with that, we can answer any questions the board members may have.
This screening is mostly evergreens, and we'll screen the parking lot throughout the year?
Yeah, that's correct. It's a mixture of trees and shrubs. We have some street trees from the original definitive subdivision filing. You can see on the landscape plan, those are the pin oaks along the front. We also provide some eastern white pine and red cedars along the front here, and a mixture of trees and shrubs from the UMass pollinators list that was sent to me by Mr. Bott.
The pin oak are deciduous trees and will lose their leaves over the course of the year?
That's not my area of special, expertise to speak to.
I don't think an oak is a evergreen, but this parking lot should be screened from the road. It's a private road now, it's been decided. I see it in the decision. Is that correct, Mr. Bott?
The road is proposed to be private. There is a condition within within this decision stating that as well, that Ricketts
that's
Pond
fine.
Road would remain private.
Then that's fine.
Do we have any other questions for them before I ask Mr. Bott to read the conditions?
Well, we should close the public hearing and go into discussion.
Then I will ask for a motion to close the
Well,
public hearing.
do we want to ask, I realize we've got a pretty good idea what the answer is, but do we want to ask if there's anybody?
Is there anybody in the public that would like to come forward and have any questions regarding this? I do not think so, so at that time, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I will make a motion to close the public hearing on the application of Peter Sprague for a special permit and site plan review, Lot 2, Ricketts Pond Drive in Carver.
A second.
discussion? So, you done?
John Gasky says aye.
Closing the hearing at this point.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
And Kevin Robinson says aye. Mr. Bott, at this time, could you please read the conditions?
Alrighty, so the draft decision incorporates a lot of the information that have gone on through the other 6 properties we've developed here, and including the one next door by Mr. Sprague. So its regularly scheduled meeting of October 8th, the planning board voted to approve the special permit pursuant to Carver zoning bylaw 2230B for a warehouse in a building less than 20,000 square feet. The project is located on Lot 2A, Ricketts Pond Business Park, map 32, Lot 121-2A. In the Spring Street Innovation District, the project will consist of the construction of one 7,400 square foot commercial building with associated driveways, parking areas, closed drainage systems, septic system, and utility connections. The planning board had previously approved 2 similar buildings on the adjacent lot for the same owner. The project is shown on a plan entitled Site Plan of Ricketts Pond Business Park, Lot 2B, which is Assessor Lot Number 32-1-2A off Spring Street, Carver, Massachusetts, prepared by McKinsey Engineering Group, dated January 14, 2024, and revised through 8/2024 with the following findings. The planning board has held the above reference plan. The planning board's public hearing was held, for the above reference plan was held pursuant to section 2230 use regulations, 3,100 site plan review, and 5,300 special permits of the Carver zoning bylaw. The board finds the requirements of section 2230 and all other applicable requirements have been satisfied under section 5330. The benefits of the proposed use outweigh any detrimental impacts to the town and the neighborhood in view of the particular characteristics of the site and other proposals in the relation to that site. In your packets, you will also find, I'm editorializing as we get to the next section, about those components of the master plan. We had talked about this in a couple of the previous meetings, but I wanted to make sure it was in the board's packets to note that the Carver, the board finds that the social, economic, and community needs are served by the potential as identified in the Carver master plan. In Land Use Goal 3-1, land use policies to protect Carver's small-town rural character by encouraging growth in preferred locations. Land Use Strategy 3-1-1, future large-scale commercial growth should take place in North Carver. Economic Development Goal 4.1, focus traditional economic development to the Green Business Park and the Spring Street Innovation District in North Carver. The board finds that the traffic flow and safety, including parking and loading, are met due, quoting the master plan, page 13. These areas have the appropriate zoning district. Moreover, their proximity to interchanges with Route 44 enable further growth without disturbing the rural character of other undeveloped parts of Carver. The board finds that the area, while previously wooded and subject to considerable changes in natural grade, is a product of an approved Ricketts Pond Business Park subdivision plan, where the finished grades are consistent with the approved subdivision plan and are within one or two of the districts, and are within one of the 2 districts, that would be Green Business Park and SSID, identified in the Carver Master Plan that permit and encourage fairly intensive business activities in North Carver. The following list of documents were submitted to the Planning Board. For brevity, I'm going to skip over those. The Planning Board opened the public hearing on the application on August 13th, 2024. The applicant made a presentation to the Planning Board, and the matter was continued to August 27, September 10, and September 24th without testimony due to member absences, and the hearing was closed on October 8th, 2024. The Planning Board conducted a site plan on the property on August 24th, 2024. Planning Board members Kevin Robinson, Connie Shea, John Gasky, Ellen Cerdello, Mary Ellen Williams, Town Planner, and the applicant Peter Sprague, and his spouse Patty attended.
I wonder if we could use my proper name there.
Did I do it again? Cut and paste from someplace else. You can fix that.
I had a comment on the first sentence, like the first page you mentioned Lot 2A. I believe we want it called Lot 2B, and the assessor's parcel is 2A.
Yeah, so that is what we've been calling Lot 2B or not 2B. So the assessor calls it 2A, your plan set called it 2B.
Yeah.
So in the description, it's called Lot 2B with the assessor's map number, Lot 1-2A. just to try to minimize or perhaps maximize the confusion over to be or not to be. I try to kill them all and put them all in the plan.
No, Eric's correct. The property is located on Lot 2A, Ricketts Pond Business Park, map 32, Lot 1-2A.
Yep.
It is Lot 2A.
You're saying it's Lot 2B?
No, he's
Lot.
calling it 2B. The assessors call it 2A.
Right,
Therefore,
which would be the map 32, Lot 1-2A.
Yeah. So what I attempted
Whereas
to...
it is located,
yeah.
it is on Lot 2B of the Ricketts Pond Business Park.
Yeah.
Is that what you're,
That was the intent of my comment, yeah.
yeah, that's
It
what,
should be
that's what.
2B.
Right,
It
right, it
should
should be Lot 2B,
Yeah.
Ricketts Pond Business Park, map 32, Lot 1-2A.
Very well.
Excuse me, Mr. Planner, I also wanted to mention that I did not attend that site visit, but I went out after that.
Oh, you weren't on the property?
I was not
Okay.
at that time, but
All
I
right.
went out subsequent to that myself.
Thank you. All right. The site is a 62,754 square foot lot located off Spring Street, in the Ricketts Pond subdivision near the intersection of Spring Street and Ricketts Pond Drive, just off of Route 44 in Carver, and is shown on Assessor's Map 32, Lot 1-2A. The subject lot was reconfigured with an A&R plan endorsed March 22nd, 2028, creating a new Lot 2A. The property is within the Spring Street Innovation District in North Carver. The abutting properties to the rear, east, is the ramp of Route 44, and the application is the 6 to be permitted within the subdivision. Wholesale, warehouse, and distribution facilities within a building of less than 20,000 square foot building footprint is a use permitted with the Planning Board special permit in the Spring Street Innovation District. The development requires site plan review as well as Planning Board special permit. No manufacturing is proposed or allowed on the site through this special permit. Manufacturing, processing, assembling, or fabrications are not permitted uses within the SSID zoning district. The project meets the dimensional requirements of the SSID zoning district. 62,750 square foot lot, where 60,000 square foot and 243 foot of frontage, where 175 foot is required. The proposed setbacks of the property exceed the minimum widths with a 53.7 foot front, 53.9 plus side, and 81.9 foot rear setbacks. The maximum lot coverage by buildings is 11.8%, where 25% is the maximum. The site will contain 14 parking spaces for office, warehouse, landscaping, and other improvements. Waivers requested. The applicant has requested a waiver for the location of parking spaces in the front of the principal building. 11 spaces are proposed in front of the building. Section 3130G, applicant requests a waiver providing for the location of existing trees greater than 10 inches in caliper. F&O recommends approval of this waiver as the lot does not contain large caliper vegetation within the proposed vegetation clearing limits of their existing conditions plan. The existing edge of woods is shown on site plan drawing in C1. Prior conditions. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, a true copy of the recorded decision is registered at the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds shall be submitted to the Planning and Permitting Office. 2. The project may be constructed as approved in the site plan. Any other revisions require approval from the board as a modification of this decision. 3. The applicant is responsible for the proper operation and maintenance of the site. During construction, sedimentation, and soil erosion controls must be installed, repaired, and supplemented as needed. Dust controls is required during construction, and the roadway aprons be kept swept and clear of any dust, dirt, or debris. A copy of an operation and maintenance plan shall be submitted to the town and Fuss O'Neill prior to the issuance of a building permit. 4. A bike rack per Carver zoning bylaws, section 3345 is required. Condition number 5. A building permit is required for the retaining wall in excess of 4 feet. Due to the height of the proposed retaining wall and the importance of the retaining wall to designed and certified by a professional engineer and submitted to the building official for review and approval. 6. A site-specific storm pollution prevention plan, SWIP, shall be provided to the town planner and F&O prior to the issuance of a building permit. It should be noted that a SWIP for the subdivision has already been prepared by the developer and is included in the report for the Lot 2B submission. 7. A site-specific. That's why 6 is wrong and 7 is right because they're the same thing with 2 different lots on. Okay, 7 is what I just said for 6. It's the Lot 2B submission. 8, final plan set shall include a signature block for each sheet to note the planning board's approval. 9, only household qualities of hazardous materials are permitted. 10, per the Carver zoning bylaws, section 3131K, separate sign permit application is required where new signage is proposed, including at the site entrance. 11, prior to the issuance of a certificate of use and occupancy, any outstanding balance for review and inspection accounts shall be paid. An as-built shall be submitted to the town's engineer and planning department in both electronic and hard copy format prior to its final inspection. And C, in accordance with section 3180 compliance of the Carver zoning bylaw, the town engineer shall inspect the project to ensure it has been completed in compliance with the approved site plan and its conditions. 12, the dumpster pad shall be bermed and any runoff from the berm shall be contained to catch basins on the site. 13, a vermin control plan shall be submitted to the Board of Health for the property. 14, there shall be no public access to these lots and the property will be signed as such. 15, parking spaces required for warehouse and storage have been shall be verified once the estimated number of employees is known. Presently 9 are required, a total of 14 and a bike rack are proposed. 16, Ricketts Pond shall remain a private road. 17, due to the previous drought conditions in southeastern Massachusetts, 1 monitoring well shall be installed on site by the applicant. Condition 18, during the building permitting phase, a review by the Board of Health and Fire Departments of water quality and availability will be conducted. 19, the installation of a Supra key safe is requested for keeping of keys and site contact information to facilitate rapid access in the event of after-hours emergencies. Any appeal of this special permit must be filed pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 17, and should be filed within 20 days of this decision with the town clerk. That is the draft decision. I will note that there are 4 members, sitting members, eligible to vote on this. Mr. Gasky missed a meeting, and in the absence of...
We didn't take testimony that night, though, did we?
You didn't?
I don't think we did.
It was continued when Alan wasn't here and when John wasn't here. That I'm familiar with.
Well, that's fine with me. I just, in my notes, I had that. It might have been an anomaly. From
Right,
something.
I know that I missed one, but I thought that they had requested...
Not a problem. If you were here, we're good to go.
Yeah.
So we got 5 members eligible to vote.
Mr. Planner, can I just point something else? On
Certainly.
page 2, the last paragraph, when you talk about the subject lot was reconfigured with an A&R plan, creating a new lot, that again should be 2B.
No, it's 2A because the assessor deems it 2A.
No, it's on an A&R plan, so on the A&R plan it says 2B, but the assessor's reference is 2A.
The assessor's the overriding.
So I'll go back.
When you have the plan, it has to match with the plan.
Yeah.
Assessor's references don't always match what's shown on a subdivision plan or an A&R plan, anything like that. So there is generally a discrepancy with that, but when you refer to the actual plan, the lot numbers should be correct. It's shown on the plan.
I'll go back and check the A&R plan to see what was on it. And this is the reason why I always try to get the assessor to assign lot numbers prior to people doing A&Rs.
Yes.
So the assessor, but that's not how they do things here. So
And a lot of towns,
I-
not
yeah,
just us.
Yeah. So we, to minimize that confusion over, is it a 2A or is it a 2B?
Right.
Is it lot, and so people split things up and call them parcel 1, 2, 3, even though it's, a subset of parcel 40-17.
Yeah.
So the numbers are, so I will confirm that on the A&R plan. I think it's a note, a historical note, reference note, but I'll clarify.
If I was looking at this from a title standpoint, I would find problem with that.
Yeah, you've looked at a few titles, haven't you?
Just a few.
Okay. I'm good with that. With any objections by the board.
Also, paragraph 2 of page 3, when you were reading off the dimensions across the
Yep, project
width,
dimensions.
you read 53.9 feet, and it's written 43. Just want to make sure that there's not...
Yeah, so it's 43 point, and Eric can correct me if I'm wrong, it's 43.9 on one side. On the other side, it goes out to about 120.
Right.
It
I
goes
just wanted to
well
make
up the
sure
side.
that, your page, what you were reading from, actually is 43 versus the 50, versus the 53.
Not only do I not do math, I don't read math very well. Let me check
I just think that you were...
43.9 is what's proposed.
Yeah.
And 43.9 is what I got on here. I just,
Yeah, when you were reading, I
All
just
right.
wanted to make sure that
Thank you.
that was the same.
It should
Thanks.
also be limited to 30-foot box trucks as proposed by the applicant.
All right. Okay.
And on page 4, number 16, it says C waiver to section 3231 above.
Yeah, and that is an artifact from an earlier plan. They didn't actually ask for a waiver on this one. That was pulled out from a previous plan where they did request a waiver. So tell me where that reference was again, Con?
Number 16.
Yes, I'm just lining out that C waiver in section 331 because they didn't ask for that waiver. All right, anything else?
You say with number 6 and number 7 were redundant? I think.
Yeah, I cut and pasted and then didn't,
So number 6.
yep. 6 is toast, 7 is the actual condition.
All right then, Mr. Plano, thank you for having read those conditions. With that, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept.
Who makes that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Further discussion? Seeing none? Mr. Gasky?
John Gasky says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
And Kevin Robinson says aye.
Thank you very much, Board. I'll get those things cleaned up and get it ready for signature at the end of the meeting.
Thank you for your time.
All right, I have before me an application of Wenham PVI LLC requesting a site plan review pursuant to section 3100 of the Carver zoning bylaw located at 27 Wenham Road in Carver, Mass. Assessors map 100, lot 6, in a residential agricultural zoning district. The applicant is proposing to construct a smart dual-use agrivoltaic LSGM SPI on a plot of land currently utilized for cranberry farming. The proposed project will modify the existing gravel access road to the solar array and will protect the existing cranberry plants. The parcel will function as a dual-use utility by maintaining the commercial cranberry growing operation with the solar array.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us here today, and I guess I apologize for being slightly late. The traffic was pretty tough, but I guess,
So Kyle, if you'd introduce yourself?
Yeah.
And just make sure you're speaking in the mic so our minute taker can hear you.
right. So I'm Kyle Murphy, here on behalf of Wenham PV1 LLC, here for our site plan approval application. And I just wanted to present, I guess, the site plan along with the other documents that we submitted along with our application. I guess most of you were here. I guess we were here about a year ago. I guess we introduced our project informally to the board, just to kind of give you all a heads up of that we're working on this, and we've been working on it for quite a while. And we have this site plan here in front of you all today. The array area, the solar panels are all contained within the cranberry bog area, spaced out in a way that will allow enough sunlight to reach the bog that the cranberries will continue to be, they'll continue to grow and they'll continue to be cultivated after the system is built. And what's been submitted to the board here has been submitted to the Department of Energy Resources, the DOER as well. And they have given us a letter of predetermination, which is, I guess, essentially a preliminary approval that the layout as we've designed it complies with their requirements and their expectations for this type of dual-use agrivoltaic system. So we have been able to get that approved from them. And I guess just to speak, I guess, to Carver's zoning bylaws, we have two abutting property owners here. 80 Makepeace covers the majority of the south, the east, and the west boundaries, and we have a residential neighbor to the north. We have 50-foot setbacks from the 80 Makepeace property because we were able to work out an agreement with them to where they would waive the setbacks from what would normally be 200 feet in the zoning district down to 50, and also waive the screening requirements from the zoning bylaws. And the residential property is several hundred feet away from the project area, the array area, and as you can see on the site plan, there is going to be in excess of 200 feet of existing natural vegetative screening from that northern residential property. So this project will be very thoroughly screened from all sides, from the residential property, the commercial agriculture property on Makepeace's property, and also from Wenham Road. I guess I've submitted like a specification sheet for the mounting structure that we'll use for the array. It's we worked with a company, I guess it's called Solar Gick, who they specialize in manufacturing and assembling these the mounting structure for the dual use systems, because they need to be elevated higher than is typically seen for these projects, so that the farmers have the space to work underneath the panels. And it also comes with a SCADA system, an industrial control system that the farmer will have access to, so that they can adjust the orientation of the panels if they need to make space for them to work underneath the panels. And I guess the panels will be mounted on galvanized steel I-beams. And I guess this is it's a 1.4 megawatt DC array and 1 megawatt AC solar array. And the project will be accessed via an existing access road. We're using the entire existing access road, however, it's only about 10 feet wide presently. So we're proposing that it'll be widened to 20 feet. And there's also a small encroachment near a pinch point at the northern end of the property, where the existing access road encroaches onto 80 Makepeace land. However, we have worked with them to get an easement agreement to allow us to continue to use that portion of the access road that is encroaching on their property, just because we didn't want to have to reroute the road just because of a small encroachment. So we were able to work that out with them as well.
I'd like you to work with the fire department to make sure that that road will be used for them to access this entire project.
That's correct, yeah. And I guess we did get the feedback from the fire department, and I apologize. We're working on, we have some changes in progress based on their feedback, adding, such as adding parking and specifying, gates and signs. But our engineers weren't able to get that through their quality and their engineering review in time for this meeting. So I guess I do apologize for that, but it is coming. We have seen their feedback, and we're working on responding to that.
Have you provided the waiver easement in regards to where it goes over Cranberry property?
I did submit those documents.
Okay.
They should be in your packets.
Yeah, I didn't receive a copy of that. Thank you.
I have, I brought copies with me if you'd like to see. I'm not sure if, does the rest of the board have those in their packets?
And the waiver from the neighbor, but looking at this, I don't think that's particularly relevant. What's your frontage on the property?
I believe it's about 70, I know it's not conforming. It's, I'm not sure if I can tell you off the top of my head. Yeah, it's 83 feet,
I believe 150 feet is required.
yes. I guess as an existing use, though, I guess it's my understanding that we would, I guess that wouldn't be, I guess, enforced as a pre-existing use, because we're not changing the use, it's still an agricultural use.
If I may,
Please.
Yes, please.
the couple questions that came to mind, and particularly the application of the site plan as opposed to site plan and special permit in this, we're certainly going to ask council for their opinion on a couple of these questions. Because of the dual use, it doesn't require a special permit, so I understand, but we just want to confirm that with council, as well as we'll talk about the frontage issue as well.
Regardless of the special permit, it should still require the required frontage. I didn't mean to interrupt your presentation. I apologize.
Does the board have any more, I guess, questions on the site plan or the site design?
I have a question. Where do you propose?
Mary Ellen, if you would, just enunciate into the mic.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Can't get much closer to it, Tom. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question in regards to the plan, and I apologize if I'm not seeing it, but where do the battery storage go?
There is no battery storage on this
There's
project.
no battery storage for this?
That's correct.
Really?
Yeah, I guess you might be aware, I guess the SMART program has started to require that these projects be paired with battery storage, but
Yeah.
this, our interconnection application was submitted so long ago. It was submitted before that became a requirement, so we were grandfathered in under the rules, and this is not required
that's
to have
good.
energy storage, and it does not have energy storage.
And then when you say the I-beams, so are you familiar with the other projects that are going on right now in town? Would they look similar to that?
I personally, I haven't seen the other projects, I guess myself. I'm not familiar,
Okay.
I guess, with how they look. I did submit, I guess, some marketing materials from the Solar Gate Company to
Yeah.
give you guys a visual of what
No, I
this-
did. It's,
Okay.
I believe this is that, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. It's not very clear because it's not up close, but I think it's
Okay.
similar to the other project.
I believe you stated that they were going to be made out of galvanized steel.
That's correct.
Yeah. No,
Are there
it's,
any mercury in those panels?
And the panels, I don't believe so. I guess I could follow up with you. I don't want to misspeak, but I don't believe that's the case, but I would need to dig into that. But I don't believe that is the case. And I guess I can follow up at a subsequent meeting to confirm.
And how long do they last, those panels?
I believe these ones have a 20-year warranty on them. So that's how I expect it. 20 years is lifetime of the panels and also of the system and the smart contract that we're going for.
Now, does it affect any birds or wildlife?
I mean, not that we're aware of. I guess, yeah, the only, I guess, potential impact is if we proposed a fence around it, so to prevent, potentially some wildlife from traversing the bog. However, we can install the fence with a, 6 to 12 inch gap at the bottom so that smaller animals can crisscross. But I guess we don't see this as having a major impact on local wildlife.
Now, where else are there panels like these? Are there any other panels in any other surrounding towns?
If I may, to Mary Ellen's question as well. So this document that shows the panels on the I-beams, this is very similar to what I saw at Swan Holt. I-beams with an actuator that actually track the sun. So I'd venture to say this, from what I see in the description here and what I saw in the field, this looks pretty much what we already have in town here at Swan Holt.
Okay.
Where's the pad mounted equipment gonna go, the transformers and such?
Yeah, we've got them. I guess if you can see, they're presently by the watering hole. However, yeah, if you zoom in there, down a little bit. So that's where we currently have it proposed. However, as part of the changes based on the feedback we've received from the fire department, we're gonna at the next meeting we're gonna have the updated plan is gonna have the transformer pad slightly to the north to move it outside of the resource and wetland boundary zones. Mostly because there's, well, for one, you don't want to put your electrical equipment in a flood zone. And I guess for two is there's some very challenging topography. The tree line to the north, it's a very steep slope there that drops down to the bog. So we're going to move the transformer, because presently we're proposed we'd have to do some regrading and some excavating, and we don't want to do that, especially within the wetland areas. So we're going to move it north. Between the 100 BZ and the yellow line, which I think is the 200-foot resource area, we're going to move it up there to the flat ground out of the flood zone, and we're also going to reroute the edge of the access road to go to the east of where the transformer will be, because where we proposed the widening would require some extensive regrading. So to minimize that, we are going to reroute it slightly to form a bit of a, just a.
So it seems like you're gonna have to apply for an NOI. Have you already done that?
We're working on the application now, and we'll have that. We're on track to have that submitted in time for the November Conservation Committee meeting. Yes, we are aware of the NOI, and we're working on it. It's in progress, and we'll have it submitted this month.
Because we'll need an order of conditions in order to move forward with this. I was looking at your operation and maintenance plan. It doesn't mention anything about removal of non-working panels, replacement, or anything along those lines. Those should be included.
Yep.
Also, for all the heavy equipment coming and going, it should have a concrete apron next to the road to protect the road from collapse and just being destroyed. You will be required for maintaining and cleaning the road. So you might consider a wash pad or equipment to keep the road clean.
Who actually benefits from these solar panels?
I mean, we believe everybody benefits because of the environmental impacts, the reduced emissions, and also customer savings on their electricity bills. And we also believe, I mean, it also we're the bog owners now, but it helps. It preserves the economic viability of this cranberry growing operation.
You've received a copy of the fire department
Their feedback?
recommendations?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. How big is this cranberry bog?
It's about 8 acres.
Because it says you're only, in your proposal, it says you're only going to be covering 1.62 acres.
Sorry. Which document is that?
Project narrative overview. It looks like it's a 2-page paper,
I got it, yep.
and clearly you're covering the cranberry bog, which is far more than 1.62 acres. It's misleading, and it should be.
I see that, yeah, I see
Okay.
how that could be, I guess. Reading this, I believe the 1.62 acres is in reference to the area of the solar panels, like the surface area of the solar panels. So I guess that correlates to, I guess here it says 7 acres, but
Okay.
it's about like 25% ground coverage ratio. Is what that works out to, roughly.
Well, it should include the area of the cranberry bog that's being covered.
It does go on to say 7 acre
Okay, all
cranberry bog.
right. I must have missed that, so excuse me for that then.
No problem.
On your application, it says, due to the nature of the proposed project, E, F, I, J, and K have been deemed not applicable. F is clearly applicable as it contains the utilities, and K is for traffic flow patterns, which we need to confirm for the fire department, that they can get their equipment in and out, so they should have been answered.
Okay. F.
Because we will, unless, the fire department's gonna have to approve that they can access and turn around and get out of that, and that's part of the safety of the traffic flow.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Does he not have the general conditions and site access from the fire department?
I believe Kyle's been sent this, I don't know if he has it.
I have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so the fire department has opined on site conditions and the fact that the roads will have to be widened. They require at least 12-foot wide and an all-surface with 16 feet of vertical clearance. And you said they're looking at making the roads perhaps 20 feet wide?
That's correct, yeah. That's what we've got. I mean, the access road that you see here on this plan is already 20 feet. But there were some other parts from their feedback that we hadn't addressed in this version of the plan, and we're working on updating it to add parking, turnaround area, signage for safety, and we'll also use, I guess, a padlock, like the gates, and
Probably a super key.
correct, yep, right.
Now, is the road proposed on sheet C31 existing or proposed?
The access road from Wenham Road?
Yep.
It's, half of it exists right now.
I mean, what you're showing on the map, is that the existing conditions, or is it the proposed conditions?
This is the proposed conditions. What's being proposed is that, because the road's roughly 10 feet wide right now, and we would widen it in the east direction, so that's just what you see. It's just, we added 10 feet to the east to the existing condition.
Is there anything showing the existing conditions? Is it
There's
shown
an-
on site plan, or?
Not sure. We have an Alta survey that shows the existing conditions. I believe I submitted that, but I need to double check. The Alta survey was submitted. If you have that, it does show the existing conditions of that access road. This is,
See 2.0. See 3.1. What was the title of that page?
it's Alta survey. It,
So I might just recommend that you include a sheet in the plan set for existing conditions. That'll,
Right.
we typically see existing
Yeah.
versus proposed.
no, that makes sense. We'll follow up with that.
All right. And Mr. Chairman, if I may, question back to Connie. Did you say, because there is an access and utility easement agreement in here, did you say you did not see that?
Oh, maybe it was, maybe it was,
Yeah. So there is an access and utility agreement from Cranberry LLC. Signed and
oh,
executed
yeah,
by
and I
James
have-
F. King, President.
a waiver affidavit also, so. Yeah. Oh, no, I have that. I found it, thank you.
What are we discussing right now?
I don't think there's a question on the table right now.
Okay, if I may.
Yes.
Decommissioning.
Yep.
So being that it's a dual-use system, I'm seeing here that you guys are proposing a decommissioning bond of $37,000. Does that include removal of the I-beams?
That's correct. That would return the bog to its present state.
And if I may, Mr. Gatsky, typically when we get a number like that, we confirm it with our consulting engineer. That's one of the things they do.
Yeah, that's,
So they'll look at that number.
yeah, definitely. think we need to-
As to your comment, John, I don't think that when you decommission that, it's going to return to its natural state, but that's just reality.
Well, certainly some replanting will be required.
Replanting, but you're putting holes in the bog, so they won't be back to their natural state. But I appreciate,
It'll be-
the optimism.
Well, it would be filled and replanted, and the vines, they'll continue to grow with the panels, and without them, they'll also continue to grow after everything's been removed.
No, but you're putting holes in the bog, is what I'm saying. So when you pull out the beams, the water is going to come up, and you're not going to be able to do that. But, I mean, that's not the point that we're looking at right now, but I just wanted to comment on that.
Okay. I guess, the way I imagined is that the holes would be filled after the I-beams are removed.
Okay.
If a panel goes bad, what is your expectation on removing it on timelines?
I mean, we could probably commit to within 60 days.
I would be more generous than that, but
Okay.
I appreciate that. I would prefer to put something in the operation and maintenance plan in regards to that.
Yeah.
But I think, with the winter weather and everything, we can be a little more generous in regards to that.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Is there someone that comes out and checks these solar panels from time to time?
That's right. I think in our O&M plan, we specified twice yearly inspections. However, due to the ongoing cranberry operation, there will be eyes on the panels far more frequently than just twice a year. So yes, they'll be monitored quite frequently.
Now, you guys are going to have remote monitoring in place for the panels?
That's correct. Yeah, it'll be.
Monitoring the output. Now, does it look, is it your understanding that it will be monitoring each row of the array, or is it going to monitor panel individually?
I would need to look into what kind of monitoring software I guess we're utilizing, but
Right.
I can follow up with more information on that.
Appreciate it. And one other question with regards to the panel trackers, are they, is it a 2-axis or is it a 3-axis
It's
type of motion control?
it's single axis, so they'd only rotate from east to west.
Okay.
What is their maximum height?
So when I guess they rotate 60 degrees in either direction. So when flat, they'll be 10 feet. But when they are rotated, they'll be roughly 13 feet.
Because I have the sheet here, I just couldn't see what the height of the panel was on it. It said 6 feet at its lowest point, or 6'6", but then it said,
Well, okay, it would be symmetrical then. So I guess the max height would be 13.4.
okay.
Let's see.
As a board, would we like to have a site walk of this?
I would, yeah.
Definitely.
And it would be nice if you could stake where this is going on the bog. I know it's kind of hard to do it, but at least 4 corners of it.
Okay, so like where the panels would be.
Yes.
Is it gonna cover the whole bog?
I mean, as you can see, it is going to cover
Right.
the majority of the bog.
Right. And there's no bog surrounding it?
This is the only cranberry bog on the property.
Okay. Your property at the street should be marked, and the proposed road should be marked at the width of the road, and then a center line that can, well, you don't need it, it's gonna be more or less built on the existing road?
That's correct, yeah.
So we'll
I guess
be able-
the western boundary of the road is going to remain the western boundary of the road after the proposed improvements.
So we should be able to follow that and mark out your pad site. How many telephone poles are being proposed with this? Just the 2?
Right, it's just the minimum that's required by Eversource for
Fantastic.
the
What, looking through this, what is the winds that this thing can handle?
I know it's in here.
So I was looking through this over here, I didn't see. I see lightweight, and it's 20 to 40% less steel and things like that, so I'm curious as to the wind.
The standard design, it's on page 3 of that document of the spec sheet, at the bottom. The standard operating wind load is 90 to 115 miles per hour.
I see that now. That should be good.
No.
Is the town of Carver limited to how many solar panels can go into this town?
The state of Massachusetts is not limited to the number of solar panels that can go into any town.
We limit it based on percentage of lots. I believe up to 20 lots is somewhere around 50%, and over 20 is somewhere around 66%.
I think has everybody asked their questions on the board? Open it up to the public if there's anybody out there who'd like to speak.
We just don't want to forget our date for our site visit.
I'll
So
get
we'll
to
get,
that. Yep.
just want to make sure we
I
don't
wanted
miss
to make
that.
sure there wasn't anybody in the public that had anything they wanted to say or ask.
Karen Lappin, is this a working Cranberry
Oh,
Bog?
hey.
Oh, wait, if you'll excuse us.
Sorry to come closer. This is Karen Lappin from Main Street. Is it a working cranberry bog is my question? I think I missed that part.
It is. It's actively being cultivated right now.
Is it like, is an actual cranberry bog now that's grown already?
Yep, it's been there it's new. It's not new. It's
And we're gonna harvest cranberries off this
Wait,
bog?
wait, this is, I'm sorry.
I'm
This
confused.
isn't the back and forth. If you have some questions, please, if you wouldn't mind, and then she can ask her
So it's
questions.
just a regular working cranberry bog is what I'm getting at, yes.
It's currently a working bog, yes.
And this is safe on our cranberries that we're gonna harvest, once
It's-
again, in our town of Carver. I hope that our emblem in our town is Carver with cranberries. That's all. Our emblem for our town is cranberries. And lithium and solar, I don't know, guys.
All right, so, site plan. What, you probably need a couple of weeks.
That's correct. Yeah. I know you have another meeting later this month. I believe. I guess when would you like a week before the meeting? Or
I'm pretty open to anything, but we have a new member, and Mr. Gatsky can be tied up at times too, so it doesn't need to be a week before the meeting, though. No.
okay. I believe we can have the updated site plan and.
But if you could have something in a couple of weeks, we could probably plan for about 3 weeks then.
Okay. Yep. We can do that.
Yeah, because I would, speaking from your seat, I would probably push this out a month, because you still need to get your NOI and your Concom
That's a good point.
sorted out, so I would,
Yeah. We'll do.
Just to make sure, you guys already have your interconnection approved from Eversource?
We do, yes.
Okay, so we're not going to be here in 2 more years waiting for an extension, looking for an extension to, because Eversource is telling you can't hook up?
Well, the Eversource does need to do some upgrades, so they've ordered they're upgrading. I believe this is the West Pond transformer that we're connecting to, but I know that they need to upgrade the substation transformer, and they've ordered it, but it's not expected to be delivered until, I believe, Q1 2027. Just to be completely transparent.
I know they upgraded the lines, they added a second line through that whole area. I know that, but
Q1 2027. It's possible that, I mean, depending on our queue position, that we could, because they're doing a phased interconnection, so if you got in before the substation was overloaded, then you could interconnect potentially sooner. However, the base case is they're going to need that transformer, and they ordered it, but it's not slated to be delivered until Q1 2027, and I know it's still 2024.
There are supply chain issues.
Yes. Yeah.
How do we feel about making the site walk the last week of October, Halloween week?
I'm available anytime.
What's your availability, Ellen?
I think at the end of the month I will have more availability.
Would we prefer to meet in the afternoon? I think that'll be the last week before daylight savings ends. So, would we want to try to make it noontime, or do we want to make it in the afternoon for everybody?
I cannot do noon. Excuse me, I can't do noon.
Understood.
What's your availability, Mr. Maynard?
I can't do noon. Except on a Monday or Friday, I can do noon.
You gotta speak into the mic, I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
I could do noon on a Monday or Friday. Other than that, it would have to be late afternoon after me.
I'm available both those days.
How does the 29th look? And is 4:30?
What day of the week is that?
It's a Tuesday.
Okay.
Does 4:30 work for you, Mr. Maynard?
I can make it work.
John?
I will endeavor to make myself available.
All right.
At what time?
So we're going to do 4:30 on the 29th.
And with that, we want to continue this hearing until November 12th. So we've had an opportunity to do the site visit. Kyle can answer some questions, get some answers to things that are outstanding. I'll hear back from town council. So November 12th is a month out, planning board wise.
You said November 12th?
That should be enough time for you, right?
Yes, it will be.
Okay. So we can put it out further if you need.
I think that'll be enough time for us. Thank you, though.
In the event it's not, you let me know.
Right,
Continue
we'll be
it.
in touch,
Mhm.
yes.
That's going to be right around the time shift. Are we going to have enough daylight?
Well, the daylight savings is going to end that weekend after,
Right.
the first Saturday of November, the last Tuesday of October.
Yeah, that's one. Okay.
We'll just have enough time. I mean, we can move it up to 4 o'clock if you think we need that extra time, but I think we'll probably be able to get it in by 4:30. Generally is dark at 5:30, and then when we do the time change, then that's why it's dark at 4:30. So that gives us the last week of the month. So are we agreed on 4:30, the 29th?
Yes.
Yes.
I am.
All right. Well then, I'll ask for a motion to continue this to
November 12th?
November 12th.
I'll make a motion to continue the application of Wenham PV LLC for dual-use, smart dual-use agrivoltaic LSGM SPI on Wenham Street, I believe, till November 11th, 2024, 7 PM, Carver Town Hall, Room 1.
I will not be here for that meeting.
The good news is it's a site plan.
Right.
And people get to miss meetings about site plans.
Right, it's not a special permit, so.
Mr. Shea, I think you said the 11th, that's the Monday, would be the 12th, the Tuesday, I believe?
I'm sorry, what?
Was it the 12th or the 11th? You said the 11th, which is a Monday. The 12th.
No, the 12th.
The 12th.
The 12th is a Tuesday.
November
Yeah.
12th.
You said the
7
11th, though.
November 12th,
In
7
your motion.
PM, Room 1, Carver Town Hall.
Second.
All right.
Further discussion.
John Gasky, John Gasky says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
And Kevin Robinson says aye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have any planning board member notes?
My prayers go out to the people of Florida.
That's right.
It's coming.
The last weekend of King Richard's Fair is the 23rd, 24th, I believe.
The 24th?
I believe it's the weekend of the 23rd and 24th. Not 100% certain on it. But I know it ends the week before Halloween.
So the last weekend is the 26th, 27th. All right.
I would personally like to thank everybody who came out for the donations over at the police station over the weekend. Apparently, they had to shut down early because they were overwhelmed with donations, which was a pretty awesome sight to see. Trucks, everybody coming in with as much as they could, as much as everybody could spare and give. It was really heartwarming.
Excellent. Excellent. Any further notes? Then we'll go to Mr. Planner.
I have no notes to share.
We don't have any minutes.
All right, and we have no minutes. So, being
So
said, I will ask...
before we get too far away, I just want to make sure I got all the changes in that draft decision for 2B. So if we can give it just a moment to go over, because I think I got them, but... All right, so we had... Connie has become Cornelius. We removed Mary Ellen Williams from the property. 2B, 2A, I'm just going to check on that, but for the time being, I've checked 2B in the decision. And I struggled when we were talking about that one other reference.
43.9 feet. It was written as 43.9, so I don't know if you read it.
Oh, yeah, that one's been sorted out.
Okay.
I think it was paragraph 16, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Referencing a waiver.
Yeah, so eliminate paragraph 6. And
6 is gone.
And on line 16,
No, it wasn't 6.
the,
It wasn't 16, I'm wrong.
There was a
About the
reference on
private
lines.
road.
yeah, well, it was C
Yeah.
waiver to section
Yeah.
3231.
That was the one.
Yeah, that's on
Yeah.
16,
Oh, it is? Okay.
probably 15 now.
And you probably
Yep, there it
want-
is, 15.
Right. I was gonna say you probably want to replace 6 with the 30-foot box truck.
Delivery is limited to 30-foot box truck?
I believe that's, yeah.
Bring Mr. Gasky back as well, since he's not absent.
Excuse me. I had to bring a water bottle to sit on my kitchen table. I know better, but
Man, cap lock's killing
This
me.
is one that I don't usually follow through with. It usually ends up sitting out in my car.
yeah.
It says A?
As an I, yes. Thanks, Scott. I had,
Oh.
I appreciate all the assistance. Coming back from someplace else, sometimes
Are things that slow in Alaska?
there's a little road fog. Things were faster in Alaska than you might think.
I thought it was.
There's bears, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty fast.
Moose, wolf.
Swamp, they call them swamp.
They keep
donkeys.
sending that albino
Swamp-
grizzly
they call
bear
swamp
up there, and he
donkeys in
doesn't like it.
Alaska. All right, so, all right, I'll hit the print key on this, and if I can get you guys to sign before we head out, that'd be great.
All right. I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I will make said motion.
Second.
It was Ms. Sordillo and Mr. Cornelius Shea. Second. Ms. Yasky.
Aye.
Aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
And Kevin Robinson says aye.
Thank you very much.
Mayor holds his peace.
I wish